There's a certain time in your journey as a founder where you definitely start second guessing yourself and contemplating about opportunity cost. I said to a colleague, senior to me recently, I said, I have BFE. And they were like, what's that? It's like big founder energy. But the advantage that I had going into Update AI and building a company in customer success with literally not knowing what customer success was,
Right.
is that I was able to lead with pure curiosity. I have such a love-hate relationship with LinkedIn, and yet it was such an important part of building my business.
I guess I wanted to start with your story, and you mentioned a little bit about so you worked in the NFL, and then you had eHarmony, and then you worked in BCG. I think as a VC a little bit there, creating new companies within BCG. And then you build a company, and now you're at Gainsight. Like, what's the common thread between all these five?
The common thread in my work experience is that I love to build. You can go as far back as you want. You go to building Legos as a kid, or a model train station, whatever, right? Like the business school summer programs that I did. All that stuff. But the common thread is that I love to build it. And I had a startup of my own, my first startup of my own back 17 years ago, let's say. Okay. I'm dating myself. It was fun. It was a learning experience. I'm pretty much contemporaries with Mark Zuckerberg, same age and all that kind of stuff. I was like, oh, if this guy can build because at the time it was like a $300 million company. It wasn't what it is. Yeah. I was like, if he can do it, then I can too. And so I went and I ventured into building an affinity-driven sports social network. It was called Hockey Barn. I'm a big hockey fan.
Yeah.
And that was going to be the first in an array of communities for individual sports, where it was going to be the players, the coaches, the fans, the parents, everybody, and a pure end-to-end social network. And so I started building that out. Realized that I took some money, but not venture capital. Mm-hmm. It wasn't going to be the big hit that we all wanted it to be. And at that point, there's a certain time in your journey as a founder where you definitely start second guessing yourself and contemplating about opportunity cost. Okay, it's been this long, I've gone through the ups and downs, but is this still worth this? The trajectory still worth what the opportunity cost is?
Yeah.
And so at that point I said, no, I don't think so at this point in my career.
Yeah.
And I went and I got a job in product management because I figured that was the easiest way to build. And then the different roles that I've had in product management, they've all been, I'm actually very grateful because they've all been building different types of tech business models. So B2C, B2B, SaaS, 0 to 1 scale. And it's given me, and so maybe I've sacrificed a little bit of going deep, in my career and my expertise in one particular area, but I like the well-roundedness that it's given me, because then you're able to see kind of patterns across your experience.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of you start a company and then it's not going to have the outcome that I want, and then you go back to working, for another company. And you talk about a founder as it's a bit of a sort of a pride issue there. So for you, what was the mindset that you had in terms of thinking, okay, it's just another learning curve. I learned what I needed from here. I'm going to move on and learn more until the next thing. How did you navigate that change?
I have learned so much as a founder of my latest startup, Update AI. I learned so much.
Yeah.
And so there was no question of being grateful for that experience. And we were also really grateful for the traction that we received, both in our marketing and our influence and in our commercial traction as well.
Yeah.
I also saw the writing on the wall of where SaaS consolidation was going, of the competitive froth that had started to amount due to where innovation in AI had gone and is going. And when we first started the company, we were not part of that wave, but the barriers to entry had been reduced because of that as well. And so, and again, it goes back to this idea of in every founder's journey, you start to think about the opportunity cost versus the trajectory of the company. And I said to myself, we've accomplished a lot, and I'm so proud. And the team and the friendships that we've built through this are just incredible.
Yeah.
And it's time to ride off on top and work with the right company to take the legacy of what we've built. And so that for us was Gainsight. There was no other question really in our minds. Gainsight is the market leader, they're the category creator, they're the category king. You had people like Nick Mehta who have built the industry and are just phenomenal human beings. And so we just felt so blessed to be a part, to be brought in by Gainsight. And it's an adjustment not being the founder. It totally is. I said to a founder recently, or excuse me, I said to a colleague, senior to me recently, I said, I have BFE. And they're like, what's that? I was like, big founder energy. I still have that big founder energy in me. And sometimes I actually have to bring it back, and because I'm not the founder anymore.
Yeah.
And it could even create noise in some instances. But it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. And no, just following up a little bit on that, I feel that part of it is also just an ego hit, right? From going from being the founder to not being in that position anymore. How did you deal with that?
Yeah. I don't know if it's as much of an ego hit, not being the founder anymore. There is some of that pride and the vanity and things of that nature. I think it's more of a acclimation to control.
That's good.
And again, going back to not having your hands in every little decision. Because you don't have to anymore. It's not your baby.
Yeah.
And there's other people that are highly capable professionals to do these things, and you don't need to. It's no longer a case of only the paranoid survive. Yeah.
It's interesting. I think what I like about your journey as well, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but when you started Update AI, I think you said that you didn't really know a lot about customer success. Then it turned out that you built the company and sold it to the company that embedded the category as well, which is pretty interesting. So how, think back, you have a room full of founders and they want that outcome for themselves. How do you go from okay, I'm entering this category, don't know much about it, but I want to build to be able to partner eventually with such a category?
I talk about that quite a bit. I'm really proud of that, to be honest with you.
Let's go.
Because it's not hyperbole. I really didn't know what customer success. I'd never heard the term before.
Okay.
And I didn't even know what it was. I truly, because I had been working in B2C in product management, and then I'd worked at BCG, and we were going 0 to 1 and incubating new companies. And there's not really customer success when you don't have a customer yet, right? And so it was all brand new to me. But coming out of BCG, when we started Update AI, and we had a hypothesis of the general direction that we wanted to go in, but we didn't know the exact beachhead for us. And so I started to take some of the skills I had from BCG, which was user discovery and interviewing people to figure out what their pain points were, to identify who we really wanted to start with. And that's where we came across customer success. And it was a moment of ding, 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 that's it. These are the people. Because they're incredibly important to SaaS and to their businesses. They are, truth be told, undervalued. And I'm an underdog, or rather, I like to fight for that underdog type of community. And that really appealed to me. That being said, the community itself was really strong. So I knew that would be an advantage for somebody to I hate to put it in those terms, but to infiltrate that community, right? To really be able to be accepted by the community, which I knew would be the case. The one thing we probably got wrong was not accepting the fact that the customer success did not have as deep pockets as other industries, other functions. That was probably one of the 2020 hindsight learnings that I had. But the advantage that I had going into Update AI and building a company in customer success with literally not knowing what customer success was, is that I was able to lead with pure curiosity and wanting to learn, with no pretending, no airs about it, because I really didn't know. And I think that some of the questions that I asked some of these industry experts and stuff, and luminaries and people that are well known and stuff now, I can't believe that I asked them those questions back when I did. What? Really? But I didn't even know better. And I think that they saw that it was genuine and they appreciated that.
That's good. So you're writing a book about being a relational founder right now. And I actually like that term, because in any industry, a lot of the conversation is about being an AI-enabled founder. And so what made you feel like this is worth a book and this is a topic worth spending time on right now?
Yeah. I'm writing the book for a few reasons. Part of it is cathartic. It's a diary for me, as a post-mortem of my own startup, right? There's that aspect of it. It helps to get the words out. Like I said, I didn't know what customer success was when I first started Update AI, and fast forward, and I'm a quote unquote influencer, or whatever you want to call it, and those things happened through relationship building. The deals that we got done, the deal with Gainsight, Again, like the community building and the influence and presence within customer success all happened through relationship building. So it was like relationship building hasn't always come natural to me. In fact, I think it was even an Achilles heel for me earlier in my career. So it was a very intentional effort. And I took that out of BCG because I saw just how much relationship building and human capital mattered at a place like that.
Yeah.
And when I started Update AI, there's so many smart founders that are out there. There's so many founders that are more technical than me and so on. But where could I take my experience was in how I knew how to build relationships. And that's why I really, and so I truly believe that it is a differentiator for founders. And then of course, supply and demand. So like, there's just not a lot of supply of resources out there on how to build relationships with founders. There's plenty of books about growing your sales playbook, and finding product market fit.
Yeah.
And I've read all those and I love all those, but there's not so many that are like the stories of other successful founders and how they really built relationships and were human first. I'm still figuring out the title for it. I don't know if it's going to be the relational founder. I have a new writing coach, a book coach, and he's like, there's not enough tension in that term. It's like, yeah, they're relational founders. So I like it because I think it's this aspirational thing that all founders can want to be. Like, I want to be a relational founder.
Yeah.
But I'm playing with that a little bit. And one of the other terms we're thinking of is like human advantage, the human advantage, right? Because
like that
advantage is to be human, especially in an age right now where everything is AI.
Yeah, no, and in terms of the key to building good relationships, especially as a founder, what's one step you can take to build good relationship, and what's the best way to go about it?
It needs to come from genuine energy to want to talk to customers and prospects and engage in the community. So you need to have that, and you can't fake that energy.
Yeah.
You have to first know how important it is to build those relationships, and then because you know how important it is, you will find your energy source to do that. So it comes from that energy. It comes from, and there's a little bit of gumption and relentlessness in trying to make those introductions when you don't know anybody and so on and so forth. Just like wedging yourself in the community.
Right.
It's leading with authenticity. I think through my journey with Update AI, I think I've actually become much more comfortable in my own skin and much more authentic with my own self.
This is awesome.
I told you a moment ago about like how I said to somebody more senior to me at the company the other day, like about my BFE energy. I wouldn't have, who does that? It's crazy. And my wife is like, are you insane? Right? But you start to feel, and there's a line, right? You have to be careful.
Sure.
And you do cross that line sometimes, but and I'm not advising that, but you become more comfortable because I've seen that authenticity has helped me really build relationships. Because they know it's not transactional only. They know that you care about the actual relationship, the friendship.
Yeah.
And I've said that to many customers and even prospects before, and I mean it. Where I've said, this relationship is actually more important to me than the commercial relationship, our personal friendship. Yeah.
And how do you separate that from actually building real relationships, but also closing businesses?
I think people understand that. At both sides of the table, right?
Right.
If you're negotiating a deal or whatever, I think people understand that they have their business priorities and they have to act in the best interest of their business. They have that fiduciary responsibility, if you will. But there's a mutual respect for that. And so you can still be yourself,
right,
and be open and honest and not posture. But respect that there is a line of where you have a responsibility for the business that you're representing.
For sure. Is that for lack of a better word, philosophy? Does that philosophy have an impact into the way that you're thinking about what you're doing with LinkedIn? And because I know that's a big priority for your team right now, and building relationships as well. I'm curious, how are you thinking about it in terms of building relationships? But also, I talk to go-to-market leaders and others who think of LinkedIn not necessarily as a true go-to-market platform, let alone a platform that you can use to actually build a relationship with customers. Yeah. So wanting to get your views and your take on that as well.
I have such a love-hate relationship with LinkedIn. Don't we all? It's I'm tethered to it. I have to delete it now, the app from my mobile phone on the weekends so that I don't keep looking, right? I'm every 20 minutes, so how many impressions are we up to? And I know that they're vanity metrics, but I still can't help myself, right?
Yeah.
And yet it was such an important part of building my business.
Mm.
I'm also building a social selling motion at Gainsight. So a well-established private equity market leader, Gainsight, and here we are, and the startup guy is building a social selling motion to galvanize and deputize all the AEs and CAMs and CSMs to be posting and commenting and engaging with their customers and prospects, because I truly think this stuff matters. I'm working with a great coach, advisor. His name is Darren McKee. And I'm happy to admit that. Again, like this is where I'm more comfortable now than maybe I would have been 5 years ago. Oh no, you're admitting that you're working with a coach. They're going to think it's not you. Nah, who cares? It's like, just be yourself, right?
Yeah.
Darren's been amazing, and he's got these like pillars of content frameworks. So there is a little bit of a science behind, that, for better or worse. But I think LinkedIn allows you to, and it's not for everybody to, like LinkedIn is my only social media. I don't have Instagram. I don't have TikTok.
Yeah.
I can't tell you the last time I signed into Facebook. So for me, I use it a little bit as an outlet of like also just showing my own personal side, which I think is part of the strategy nonetheless on LinkedIn, is to show your personal side, because the new PLG is not product-led growth. Like when I was a product manager and trying to figure out onboarding and stuff, it's persona-led growth. It's people buy products from other people, not from companies.
Yeah, this is good. And have you been asked by peers or even maybe your CEO that what's the ROI of this? Like, how are we gonna justify with it?
Yeah, it's a lagging indicator for sure. Okay. Like you have to invest in it to see the results. Yeah, I've been really blessed actually. Our most senior leadership has been very much greenlit this initiative for us. Okay. They buy into it themselves. Chuck, our CEO, has been really bullish on it, and he's been, I get text messages from him sometimes of like, "What do you think about this post?" And I'm like, "It's good, but it needs to be a little bit more, driven from this angle, etc."
Like the hook, let's tweak that a little bit.
Yeah, but getting away from just like the hook stuff, right? Yeah. Getting away from like more of like just the overall structure of what's the best content. So but you can measure it. I mean, we created, just to be very tactical, we created a campaign in Salesforce called Social Selling. And when I book a call, or our sellers book a call based on a LinkedIn interaction, we tag it as social selling. So we're a few months into this, and I haven't looked at the correlation yet of the pipeline that's built, but we will in the coming months, and we'll see that correlation. And of course, at the end of the day, it can also just be the one big whale of a deal that you get on social that pays for everything. And we've actually got a couple of those that are in the hopper right now that could be big payoffs for us.
Okay. Well, maybe it's full of conversation there.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. I wanted to spend maybe just a couple of minutes just for you to talk a little bit more about what you're building at within Gainsight.
Yeah.
And so if you were to talk to a CS team and articulate how's the life going to change with the product that you're working right now, what would you say there?
Oh, in so many ways. We have this whole positioning right now that SaaS as an industry is going from SaaS to RaaS, or at least our part of it, which is software as a service, to retention as a service. Part of our product actually is going to retention as a service, meaning that we want to help you not just manage like the activities that you need to complete to get your job done as a CSM,
right? But
actually like retain as a service that we provide, in the sense of like we're helping you to actually drive those outcomes directly. So one of the coolest products we have is called Atlas, which is our agentic AI business that we spawned over the past year and is now up and launching. And we have this renewal agent as part of Atlas, where in the long tail of your customers, so the segment of your customers that are a little bit smaller and the economics don't work out for you to be as high touch with them and as hands-on with them. There's so many large companies out there with tens of thousands of small long tail customers that they don't even manage, meaning that maybe they send them like one email of like, "Hey, your renewal is coming up next week or in 2 months," and that's it. And so what we're really excited about is think about something like Atlas, where we can take this agentic interface and autonomously, on its own, it's emailing that customer with the right context, and it's placing phone calls and having a conversation with the customer with the right context and with the right guardrails, and being able to close the loop and follow up with the human in escalation if needed, otherwise take the action themselves. Like, that's super cool. So the net of that for current customer success managers is less of the tactical stuff, more room to think about the strategic, more room to work with the strategic accounts, more room to prep, obviously with like the AI briefs for their conversations that are coming up so that they can get better information out of those conversations. Of course, then feed it back into the AI afterwards. So, be more time to really be what many CS leaders think of as like value architects, really, is just focusing on like the strategic plan for each account and how is that account going to get value from your product, and then always making sure and checking in on that value that's being delivered. Yeah. So seeing at a higher level, architecting that value rather than being in the weeds of like placing phone calls for renewals and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're working on a lot of cool things right now, like the top of the book and this, and we'll end there. Like, I'm curious about what's driving you right now, because you've done a lot of cool things in your life and your career as well.
Yeah.
Let's say, we 30 years down the line, and you look back at Josh today and you're like, you did it. Like, so what's the motivation there and what you're trying to do?
I don't know about Josh today. Josh today is a little bit like, the name of my podcast is Unchurned. Josh today is unhinged a little bit. He's working on like all these different things. He's, so I'm the senior vice president of strategy and go-to-market development at Gainsight, and I'm working on this social selling program, and I run our customer marketing and advocacy, and I'm building out an executive engagement model and doing a little bit of AI transformation work, and then I run our weekly like company-wide like all hands, and like a little of this, and then I'm like the LinkedIn evangelist guy. And then I'm writing the book and learning from the actual like incredible founders that I'm talking to, like Des Traynor, the founder of Intercom, Manny Medina, the founder of Outreach, Henry Schuck, the founder of ZoomInfo, like these amazing people. I'm just trying to gobble it all up. Honestly, I don't know where it goes.
Yeah. Rock it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you
Josh.
guys for having me. Appreciate this.